And I am a member of Etubom's Traditional Council in the Palace of the Obong of Calabar, representing Obomitiat Ikoneto. Ikoneto is split into two sections, Mbiabo Ikoneto and Obomitiat Ikoneto. You see, Ikoneto came into existence at about the early 16th century. And the first arrival there was Ito, the Ito people. That is where Barrister Inyang, the first Efik lawyer, comes from. And when the two people arrived, followed by the Mbiabo people, they settled there. Then later on, we migrated from Obomitiat Edere, that is the northern part of where our forebears first settled. There was a contention, between the families. So the two families of Upong Dem and Ukorobin Dem moved out and came down the estuary of the Cross River. When we got to Ikoneto, we met the Mbiabo people quite all right. They insisted that we should settle there with them. We said no, we would not. We will go further down the river to see whether we can find an open land of ours to settle there. They said okay, but they never liked the decision we took. So that contention had existed from time to time. Our relationship with them has not been very cordial, not until the present, where the present generation just look at it and said, well, let's forget about that. Now we came down, and then just not very far, of course, at the time I'm talking about, you move from that place to that, it looks like it's very, very far, Then our people settled there and named it after their original place where they moved from and settled there. One thing with the Efiks, when you move from one place to the other, the only thing that portrays you as an Efik is the Ekpe. So our people brought their Ekpe society down to Obomitiat Ikoneto and established an Ekpe lodge there, because that was the executive authority of the Efik people. After we had written to Queen Victoria to send missionaries here to bring Christian religion and education to Calabar, the Ekpe was the executive, the effective force that drove people into the church. So these two things are very important in our life: the Christian section, the Ekpe section. And in Ikoneto, at the initial stage, the whole of Ikoneto, we are divided into 4 royal houses. You have the Ikonbo Royal House, Ikorani Royal House, Ikorupong Royal House and Ikorukurubi Royal House. You know, from these 4 houses, you can move. The Etuboms of these 4 houses are those who are entitled to be at the head of the administration of the town. Then, you know, we were living as small republics. Every little area has its own Obong. And in Ikoneto, early, very early, you know, you have one Obong who administers the whole place. There came a time when Obong Nsansani died, and we had our own relation. Chief Ofyong Ita Ofyong Anyang wanted to be the Obong of Ikoneto. My forebears protested, told him, he said, look, the oldest Etubom is always the Obong of a small Efik republic. You cannot be, so far as Etam Ukorobi from Obomitiat Ikoneto is still living. You cannot be, he never agreed. He insisted. So the matter was brought before the native authority. And the late Obong Edem as Chibong, the 5th, since his mother comes from Ikoneto, the matter was moved from the native authority to his residence. They said, okay, you treat it and report to us what is the result. My parents went and they had a talk. There was a meeting. The late Obong said, okay, you state your case. Mbiabo stated their case. We stated our case. They never came to agreement. There was no question of resolving the matter. The man said, okay, the only thing I would do at the moment is Ikoneto is no longer under one administration. Mbiabo, go and have your own administration, appoint your Obong, go and have your own administration, appoint your Obong. That was the end of the tussle between the two sections.
Around what year was that?
Pardon?
What year was that? What time?
It was 19... in the early 1950s.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any other thing you would like?
So you say there are 2 Efik in Ikoneto. There are 2 Efik.
There are 2 Efik. Yes.
The first one is from the 1600s.
Well, you know, when the 2 people came first, they were the first people who landed in Ikoneto, and they had their own Ekpe lodge. Then Mbiabo people came, had their own Ekpe lodge. But according to the tradition of Ekpe, if we are coming with Ekpe residue to Mbiabo, take for example, they are having some big ceremony, and then they invite us to bring Ekpe. When we get into Mbiabo, we first go down to where Ito Ekpe Lodge was, although the building is no longer there. The Ekpe masquerade will have to display and do the necessary obeisance to Ito Ekpe Lodge, then comes back to do that obeisance to Mbiabo Ekpe Lodge. That is how it goes. But at the moment, we have two Ekpe lodges, the Mbiabo Ekpe Lodge and Obomitiat Ikoneto Ekpe Lodge.
Okay, who was Mbiabo?
Mbiabo Ikoneto.
Who is that? A person, Mbiabo?
The person. That is Etubom Anthony Ani.
No, I mean Mbiabo. Is that a name of a founding ancestor? Mbiabo.
No. That is the name of the town. The founding ancestors of Mbiabo are Ani Enyankot and Mpo Enyankot.
Okay.
Those are the founding ancestors.
So where does the name Mbiabo come from?
I cannot actually say. You know, that was the name of their original habitat.
Yes.
When they migrated and got to Ikoneto, they named it after where they were before.
Yeah.
Just like ourselves, coming from Obomitiat, Edere, we came, got to Ikoneto, had our own location, and we named it after where we migrated from, Obomitiat. That is why they say Obomitiat Ikoneto.
So
Mbiabo Ikoneto.
Did Ikoneto people come from our Chuku area also? Were they there in our Chuku, in Uruan?
Pardon?
Ikoneto people, were they living in Uruan like the other Efiks?
Oh yes, that was the general migration of the Efik people. When they came down, they settled at, when they left Uruan, they settled at a village which they founded called Ndodoi. Then they moved to another village, Ikpaine. You know, they got
Urban to Ikpaine, from Ikpaine to Ndodoi.
What?
They live from Uruan. From Uruan, they don't give Ikpaine.
Or it's spread out. Or Butong maybe then the Toko later on.
So
what happened is this, as you were asking. When the Efiks, as an ethnic group, migrated from Aruchuku and Uruan, they landed at an area, you know, this floodland called Ndodoi. They stayed there for some time. The place was not healthy, so they moved to Ikpaine. Stayed there at Ikpaine. From Ikpaine, they came to Creektown. Settled then in Creektown. It was in Creektown that these different sections, the Obuto people here in Calabar, first moved and settled where they are. Then, at the time in question, if any woman delivers a twin, she should be killed and those children. So you have Nsai Fiumepu was in Creektown. He was the Obong of Creektown. You have Edem Fiumepu of the same parentage. Then you have Okoro Fiumepu. Okoro Fiumepu and Edem Fiumepu, one father, one mother. But the three of them are of the same parentage, father. So when Okoro got conceived and delivered a twin, you know, the brother Edem Fiumepu went to Nsai Fiumepu, who was the king at the time in Creektown, and told him what had happened. So the man said, what? He said, okay. They moved the woman out of Creektown and the 2 children and brought them here. Right directly opposite me here is a place called Nsutana. She was brought down here. They cleared the place. They sent some people with them, provisions and everything, cleared the place. And so that became a temporary habitation for Oko and the 2 twins. Those children grew up there, and then after they had known themselves, they came out here and saw this big river. They said, Atakpa, that is big river. That is why Juketown, what do you call Juketown? In Efik, we call it Atakpa, named after the Calabar River, Atakpa. So they came over here and stayed here, and then later on, the children of Nsaifium, who, the children came down here. Nsaifium was the Obong. When the children came down here, at the time the 2 twins wanted to erect an Ekpe lodge. Normally, the pillar of Ekpe lodge is put there by the eldest son of the previous father. So when the children of the eldest son in Creektown came down and said they should put the Ekpe pillar there. These people here, the 2 twins, he said, look, that was Obong in Creektown, not here. So you are not putting the pillar. There was quarrel, and that was what led to Henchetown moving. They moved to here and were staying here with Ewang. Ewang were the actual people who occupied Henchetown before. The Henchetown people, which in Efik we call Nsirung, they moved up here and settled here with Ewang.
Yes.
But after some time, there was trouble between Ewang and the Henchetown people. Ewang people had one traditional masquerade which they call Ekang. That Ekang holds fire on the left and a small broom on the right. He went and that Ekang masquerade went and and poured fire on a lady, from Nsirung. From there was trouble. Both of them fought, and Nsirung people, supported by Juketown people, because they are all the same people, drove the Ewang people out here. From there they went over to Kwaibum. That is where that is where the Inspector General Inyang, Etubom, who was the Inspector General, comes from.
Question.
Pardon?
A question. How did Ekpe come to Atakpa?
in Creek Town had a cousin. His cousin is Yamba the Fifth.
Yeah.
He brought Ekpe down here to Calabar.
The number 5. Okay. How did he do that?
Pardon?
How did he bring it from Creektown?
How did he bring it?
Yes.
The normal traditional ceremony of Ekpe. You know, the brother loaded Ekpe canoe with everything and all the paraphernalia of Ekpe, and they sailed out and came here and then established Ekpe Lodge here for their brother, who became King Yamba the Fifth.
What is that lodge called?
Pardon?
How do you call that lodge they made here?
Lodge here. Efik Iboku.
Okay. But there's an Efik Iboku in Creektown also.
There is a Efik Iboku in Creektown that is in Adaoko.
Yes.
Adaoko. You know, immediately you arrive at Creektown. When you are going up,
Yes.
like that area is called Adaoko. Then there is a road that goes to the right.
Mbarakom.
You pass Otung, then you get to Mbarakom.
Yes. So the Efekpe of Iboku of Vatakpa and of Creektown, they are one lodge.
One lodge. Yes.
So how did
What happened until recent? The Iyamba is here. Is in
Creektown? No, the Yayamba's here.
The Iyamba is here. Then the Ebunko is in Creektown.
Yes. Okay, when did they split?
It was just about about 10 years ago. The younger generation who came up said they will not condescend to come down here every time they want to play Ekpe, because here was the Yamba and there were Ebungo. But you know, normally if they had wanted to attain full Ekpe autonomy, all what they should have done should have brought an Ekpe canoe down here, and then ask the people, say, look, we want to have a full complement of the Ekpe Lord. And then the people would have told them, it's all right, give this. But, you know, arbitrarily, they just declared themselves completely independent and established an autonomous Ekpe society in Creektown. That is why they have Iyamba now there, all the full complements of the Ekpe.
So, how did the Efekpe Iboku get established in Creektown? Do you know?
Pardon?
Who founded Iboku in Creektown?
Iboku.
In Creektown.
Iboku, you know, the Efik people are divided into two principal sections. Atai, that is the people who descend from Eyoema stock. And then Efimepo, those who were in Oran and descended from Efimepo stock, you know. So we have these two stock, Atai and Efimepo, you know. In Creektown, the Adaoko people are Efimepo, Mbarakom people and Otung people are Atai. Here in Calabar, Obutong is Atai. Ekoritunku, that is common down here, is Atai. Whereas Atakpa and Nsirung, that is ancient town, they are, both of them are Efimekbo.
What I'm trying to ask is, who founded Iboku in Creektown? I understand Ayowanesty. Ayowanesty founded Iboku. Is that true?
It was
Ayowansa.
Eyoima, because he was the first ruler of the Efik people.
Ayoima founded Efik by Ayoima.
No, he didn't found the Efik. You know, the Efik was brought to him by the people from Usagade.
Sorry, hold on.
Eyoima.
If I know.
Thank you. Okay.
You have Efik by Eyoima. You have Efik by Mbarakom.
Yes.
You have Efik by Adahuko.
That's Iboku.
All these Efik by, you know, Efik by normally is Efik by Iboku. You know, because when you trace the genealogy of the Efik people, it ends at Iboku. Either at Iboku, Efimekbo Iboku, you know.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, by the time of Iyamba 5, Efekpe's Iyamba is made with a Iyamba 5.
Yep.
10 years ago, they became independent from Iboku.
Yes, about 10 years ago, the Creektown people, that is Efik Adahuko, because Adahuko people and Duketown people, Atapa people, they are the same. They are, both of them are Efimekbo. The Ekpe Lodge in Otung in Creektown, as well as Barakom in Creektown, has nothing at all to do with the Ekpe Lodge in Adahuko. It was a Ekpe Lodge in Adahuko and the Ekpe Lodge here that are one. When the Iyamba is here, Ebungo is over there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
It is that one Ekpe that covers all different Efik settlements. Whether you are from Efimekbo or whether you are from Atayo, the Ekpe fraternity is named Ekpe Iboku. If it is not Ekpe Iboku, then it is not of Efik origin.
Okay.
Others come and then they say they want to buy Ekpe from Efik Iboku. Efik Iboku recognized. Now take for example Arochukwu. Arochukwu play Ekpe. If they come here and on a Ekpe mission, and the butcher a cow, there is a part, the right foot of that cow is given to them when they are going back. It's so too, if we go to Arochukwu, it's just the same thing they do to us. That is Ekpe tradition.
Yeah. So before Iyamba 5, how did they have Ekpe law here in Atakpa? There was no Ekpe. Ekpe was in Creektown.
Yeah.
So what did they do before Iyamba 5 to control the people here?
The relation in Creektown brought Ekpe down here and gave it to his own brother.
Iyamba 5.
Iyamba. It was not Iyamba 5 at the time. Iyamba 5 emerged after, generation upon generation. That is why they call him Iyamba. At times, his name is Eyamba.
Yes.
But since he was Iyamba, Iyamba, that is the Ekpe title.
Yes.
So, the two nomenclatures are being mixed up.
Iyamba 1 was Ambo, Mbarakom. Iyamba 2, Mbarakom.
Yeah.
Iyamba 3, Atakpa. Iyamba 4, Atakpa. And the rest are Atakpa.
Exactly.
But these are the Iyamba title holders.
Pardon?
This is with the I. Iyamba title holder.
You mean I?
Iyamba with an I, not E.
Yes, I is Iyamba in Ekpe. Iyamba, their name is Eyamba. Iyamba.
That's the family name.
Family name.
So do you mean that before Iyamba 1 in Creektown, there was Iyambas in the Efik Ekpe?
Here?
Yes.
No.
Iyamba title did not come from Uruwan with the Efiks.
No.
Efiks had a Bongo and other titles.
Yeah.
Mboko. So how did the Iyamba title get to the Efiks?
Iyamba title originated when Eyoema in Creektown became the king of the Efiks. Then Asimo Kundu, Ngorofota. These people are from Usade. They were the people who have Ekpe originally. They brought the Ekpe down here. So Eyoema appreciated it. It's all right. They gave Ekpe to Eyoema. So Eyoema was Iyamba the first. From there, it went to his descendants.
Okay. So what about Obutong?
Obutong are tight. All of them.
Obutong people left Creektown with no Ekpe. They ran from Creektown because of a fight.
No. They came with their Ekpe. Nobody lives without Ekpe. They first came and settled here before the Okoro children came and settled here. They first came and settled there.
Okay.
And when they first came and settled there and met the Portuguese traders who came, they were controlling the Calabar River for years, for about 35 years. Nobody can put his canoe here to buy to sell or buy with the Portuguese traders. What happened was this. These Juketown people now went and told the consul, the British consul, he said, look, down there we have abolished slave trade, abolished killing of twin mothers and twin children. That Obutong people are still doing it.
Yeah.
It was a lie.
Yeah.
Then the British people came, bombarded the whole of Obutong. Took some of them to, that is where you have New Calabar. Took some of them inside their gunboat
Calabari.
down to Rivers area. Calabari.
Okay. Because the Obutong Efik, the Ekpe of Obutong is known to be a male Ekpe. A male Ekpe, not a female Ekpe.
You know what?
Is that true?
You know what? You see, it is characteristic of individuals when they want to install themselves exclusively with something which they can always gain from. That is why they say Abutong is male and here is female. When you say female, it bonds, it's the female that bonds. But Abutong people are selling Ekpe to people. Who can go and stop them? You cannot.
Okay.
It's just the Juketown people manufacture that in order to be the sole, they felt, even with Ikoneto, they felt Ikoneto should come and do before they do anything. The people say, what nonsense is that? After all said and done, we made you Efik.
Okay.
Because Ikoneto is a type.